You just wanted to see the appetizers, but when you scanned that QR code on the table, you didn't open a simple PDF menu. Ever wonder what actually happens in the 2 seconds between scanning and seeing the drinks page? Today, I'll explain restaurant QR codes as data collection points like you're 5 years old. By the end, you'll understand what information these services harvest. You'll also learn why restaurants pay extra for it, and the one simple trick to opt out completely. Most restaurants don't create their own QR codes. They pay third-party services to generate what's called a dynamic QR code. Companies like ToastTap, Bento Box, or Must Have Menus handle this. Unlike a static code that goes straight to a file, a dynamic code redirects through the company's tracking server first. That detour is where data collection happens. And by data collection, I mean harvesting on a scale that would make your grocery store loyalty card jealous. The second you scan, that server captures your device fingerprint, basically a unique ID for your phone. It logs your IP address, which reveals your approximate location and internet provider. If you've got location services enabled, it grabs your GPS coordinates down to the exact table you're sitting at. It timestamps everything, marking the exact moment you scanned. Then it starts monitoring your behavior on the menu itself. How long did you look at the appetizers? Did you scroll past the salads without stopping or jump straight to the entrees? How many seconds did you spend staring at that $38 ribeye before scrolling back to the burger section? Every tap, every scroll, every moment of hesitation gets logged and packaged into a data profile. Here's where it gets interesting. This isn't some sketchy operation running out of a basement. This is the actual product restaurants are buying. They're not just paying for a digital menu. They're paying extra specifically for these tracking features. A basic static QR code that links directly to a PDF is free. You can generate one right now in about 15 seconds. But restaurants shell out monthly subscription fees ranging from $50 to $300 because they want the analytics dashboard. They want to know peak dining hours and which items get the most attention. They track how often customers come back and whether that menu redesign actually worked. Think of it like window shopping, except the store has been filming you the whole time. Not just where you walked, but how long you paused in front of each display. They track which products you picked up and put back, and whether you touched the expensive stuff or went straight for the clearance rack. Then they analyze that footage to build a profile about your shopping behavior. This shopper likes premium products, but hesitates at high prices. They probably respond well to discount codes, visit on weekends, and stay for an average of 12 minutes. That's worth money to advertisers. Your menu scan works the same way. The data gets anonymized. They strip your name out. But device ID number 847362 is still you. And that ID is valuable because it's connected to everything else your phone does. The tracking service aggregates this data and sells it to data brokers who specialize in building advertising profiles. They don't care that you're Sarah from accounting or Mike the substitute teacher. They care that device ID number 847362 shows specific patterns worth money. You're a high-income diner who orders wine with dinner and looks at desserts but doesn't always order them. You visit upscale restaurants on Friday nights and linger over the menu for an average of 4 minutes. That pattern is worth actual dollars to marketers building targeted ad campaigns. Here's what you need to understand. The company that made the QR code menu isn't working for you. They're working for the restaurant and the advertisers. You're not the customer in this transaction. You're the product being packaged and sold. It's the same business model as free social media apps. Except at least with Instagram, you know you're being tracked. With restaurant QR codes, most people still think they're just looking at a fancy digital menu, completely unaware there's a server in some data center logging every second they spent debating between the chicken and the salmon. But here's the part that really gets me. Restaurants used to just have menus made of paper or laminated plastic sitting on tables. You'd open it, decide what you wanted, and that was it. No tracking, no data harvesting, no device fingerprints. COVID made QR codes necessary for safety, which made total sense in 2020. But we're in 2025 now, and these tracking codes stuck around even though the health emergency ended years ago. Restaurants discovered they could squeeze extra value out of your dining experience. Most customers never questioned it because we all got used to scanning things during the pandemic. The tracking isn't illegal, by the way. These companies have privacy policies buried somewhere on their websites that technically disclose what they're doing. But nobody reads those lengthy legal documents when they're hungry at a restaurant. You're hungry, you want to see the menu, you scan the code. You didn't consent to detailed behavioral tracking. You consented to seeing a list of sandwiches. It's like signing up for a free email account and accidentally agreeing to let them read all your messages. Technically legal, but ethically questionable. So what can you actually do about it? Before scanning any QR code, you can check where it actually goes. On iPhone, long press the code, and you'll see a preview of the URL. On Android, use Google Lens to scan it first. It shows the destination before opening anything. If the link goes directly to a PDF or the restaurant's actual website, you're probably fine. If it redirects through a service you don't recognize, something like menutrack.io or dineanalytics.com, that's a tracking service. But here's the simplest solution, and it's the one I actually use. Just ask for a paper menu, because every restaurant still keeps them. That's it. Walk in, sit down, and when the server comes over, say, "Can I get a regular menu?" They still have them. Every restaurant does. They're sitting in a drawer somewhere because health inspectors and accessibility laws still require physical backup options. Some servers might look mildly confused because nobody asks anymore, but they'll bring you one. You'll get your food just as fast, you'll see the exact same options, and you won't hand over your device ID and behavioral data for the privilege of seeing a list of sandwiches. This matters because we keep trading privacy for convenience without realizing we're making a trade at all. We got conditioned during COVID to scan everything, trust every QR code, and assume it's all just harmless technology. Digital menus are convenient. They're easy to update, they save printing costs, they don't get sticky. But convenience always comes with a price tag. Sometimes you pay in dollars, sometimes you pay in data. The question is whether you knew you were paying, and whether you think the trade was worth it. The restaurants aren't the villains here. Most owners just want analytics to run their business better. If they know the salmon special gets tons of views but barely any orders, maybe it's overpriced, or the description needs work. If traffic spikes at 6:30 p.m. every Thursday, they can schedule more staff. That's useful information. The problem is the entire data broker ecosystem that feeds on these little transactions. Your menu scan gets aggregated with your grocery store loyalty card, your fitness app, your streaming watch history, and suddenly there's a shockingly accurate profile of who you are. And you never explicitly agreed to any of it. You just wanted to see if they had French fries. There's also the question of who else is buying this data. Right now, it's mostly advertisers and market researchers. But insurance companies are always looking for new data sources to assess risk profiles. Employers sometimes purchase consumer data to screen potential hires. Even landlords have started using data brokers to evaluate rental applications. Your dining habits might seem innocent, but they're part of a larger mosaic. Frequent late-night fast food orders combined with other lifestyle data could paint a picture someone uses to make decisions about you. And it's not just restaurants anymore. QR codes are everywhere now. Parking meters, museum exhibits, product packaging, business cards, concert venues, real estate signs. Each one is a potential tracking point. The technology itself is neutral. It's just a way to encode information. But the implementation has shifted from convenience tool to surveillance infrastructure. We scan without thinking because we've been trained to trust that little square pattern. To recap, most restaurant QR codes route through third-party tracking services that log your device ID, location, timestamp, and monitor exactly how you interact with the menu. Restaurants pay extra for these tracking features because they want analytics on customer behavior. That data gets anonymized, packaged, and sold to brokers who build advertising profiles worth real money. You can check where a QR code goes before scanning by previewing the URL. Or you can just ask for a paper menu, which every restaurant still has, and skip the surveillance entirely. So here's the real question. If you knew every menu scan was building a permanent profile of your dining habits that gets sold to companies you've never heard of, would you still scan the code? Or would you finally ask for that paper menu collecting dust in the drawer?